Hello everybody, what in the world is happening? Well, I have been researching behind the scenes world news for the last 5 or so years, and I would like to share what my understanding is. Now, please do your own diligence. This is simply the research that I have done. I have got factual evidence to support what I have found. However, this video is not about me supplying that evidence, and there's plenty of information online, although it is rapidly declining as Twitter are removing people and Facebook are removing people. I've had my account deleted about a month or so ago, and it was deleted because I was posting unsafe information. Now, everything I posted was simply to do with the doctors, absolutely doctors. I'm very wary about what I say here because my video may be removed. Anyway, this is my take on what's happening in the world. Over 350,000 years ago, humanity's DNA was altered, and we were moved from a 12-strand DNA and had 10 of our strands of DNA disabled. What we are experiencing at the moment from a spiritual point of view is the Great Awakening, and this is where we have our 10 strands of DNA repaired and working. We're having a massive event at the end of the year, which is December the 21st in the US. It'll be December the 22nd in Australia at 4:11 p.m. And this is the Great Awakening, where if you read the Bible and all sorts of other religious books, they talk about this great energy that comes from the sun, and what I believe will happen is that we will have 2 suns. The energy will come and hit the planet, and those who will retain on the 5th dimension. Now, dimensions are a state of being, they're not an actual place. So at the moment, planet Earth is straddling between 3 dimensions, which is the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. The 3rd dimension is pain and suffering, which we're experiencing at the moment. There isn't a lot of truth in our community. The 4th dimension is esoteric, and the 5th dimension is heaven on earth. So those who have chosen prior to incarnating to come into the 5th dimension will go there. Those who have chosen to stay in the 3rd dimension will stay in the 3rd dimension, but this is their opportunity to actually leave. And if they are going to choose to stay in that 3rd dimension, they will be there for thousands and thousands of years, even though there is no time or space. Are you going to the 5th dimension, or are you choosing the 3rd dimension, or have you already chosen? Service to self and service to others. 51% service to others and above. Those people will be moving to the 5th dimension. Obviously, those who are service to self, and there are plenty of examples in our community, will be staying in the 3rd dimension. It's not something you can do when you get there on the 22nd of December at 4:11 p.m. It's not a choice you make then. It's how you've lived your life. So reflect, how have you lived your life up until now? Now, what is happening in the global arena is that Donald Trump, yes, it's US politics, Donald Trump is and I can't say a lot of words that I want to, but Donald Trump's one of the good guys. And what he is doing, he has to drain the swamps. The swamp is full of swamp creatures that have been controlling our humanity. Now, there were 3 world centers. It's the Vatican is the spiritual world center, Washington is the financial world center, and Washington is the military center, and London is the financial center. London and the Vatican are both countries, sovereign countries. Now, I've recently heard the FBI has gone through the Vatican not once but twice. There's so much information out there showing what's happening behind the scenes, but the media, most of the media, is totally controlled and owned by the powers that have been controlling the world. So when you look, who's been controlling the world? The money has been controlling the world. Who owns the masses of money? Well, banks and financiers and the media. Like, the media can actually perpetuate anything, and this is what we are seeing at the moment. We're not seeing the truth coming out. We're just seeing all this information about about health, and we're not seeing anything else. Like, China at the moment is having massive floods. There is going to be huge famine in China. In India, they're having massive floods. In Yugoslavia, they found 6 pyramids, and where's all this news? Where's it coming? Nobody's talking about it. Well, Donald Trump's grand plan is to implement NESARA. Now, NESARA is the US and GESARA is globally. There are 209 countries that have signed the global agreement. Now, if you don't know what NESARA and GESARA is, just do a quick search and find out. But basically, it's fabulous news for humanity. It's the releasing of patents that have been bought and packaged and hidden from humanity that can change people's health. It is to do with the finances. We have been living in a totally controlled financial system, and the wealth is going to be given back to humanity. Now, it is happening right here, right now. And all through the US, people are reporting their debts have just been gone to zero, because the fiat system is a zero-sum system, and the powers that be know it's a zero-sum system. So what's happened is that these health issues that are spreading around the world, it's been implemented to hide the financial system crash. Now, is the financial system going to crash? It should have already, shouldn't it? Based on what we're seeing businesses being bankrupted. We're seeing people being locked down at home. People can't travel. Like, can you imagine how many billions of dollars are spent in travel every year as people jet set around the world? I certainly have had my share of travel. So all this income that was being passed around is no longer. Wouldn't you think the whole economy would have fallen in a hole? Well, that's exactly what the powers that be want to happen. And that's exactly what's not happening, because Donald Trump keeps on standing up saying our employment figures, we're getting people back to work. He wants to open up different states. He's controlling everything to the nth degree. Donald Trump is actually... he sets legislation on legislation. He's got rid of corrupt judges and implemented them and replaced them with judges that are being trained in the constitutional law. Now, it's all got to play out. And why we're being shown all this health challenge and smoke and mirrors is so that people can actually wake up. And I'm sure you've heard wake up, are you awake yet? I don't believe saying to people, are you awake yet, is helpful, because everybody is doing the best and thinking the best and believing the best that they can. Yes, I'll probably be flamed in this video. I've certainly been flamed and by plenty of other people in plenty of other places. However, this is my belief. And do you know what? It is simply my belief. And my belief may be different to yours, but do some research. Come back to me and say, hey, you are wrong because, and explain why I'm wrong. But normally people just do a personal attack, tell me that, that I'm a tin hat wearing cowboy and that's the way it is. But hey, what do you do? Anyway, so there's massive good news. I know there's a lot of fear out there. However, it's trust the plan, and Donald Trump has done a remarkable job. Now, have a look at Scott Morrison in Australia. What has he actually done? He's just sitting there in a drowning country. What is Scott Morrison doing? I haven't seen him doing anything. Have a look at what Trump's doing. He is implementing legislation. He's talking to other countries. He's got the UK. He's working with the leader of the UK. He's working with leaders all around the world. He is implementing a new world for us, and he has so much information that is given to him by parties that are not of this world, that are helping him transform the world. Because this energy that's coming in December, and I have heard that November is going to be a big month too, and September being the month of the election, it's going to be a challenge as well. So we've got massive things coming up that will all impact on all of our lives, and it's your job to work out where you're going to fit. Now, just imagine a world of total abundance, heaven on earth, basically, where you don't have to work unless you choose. You're in a state of well-being. If you have any health challenges, you know that you can just sort them. Like, what a wonderful place to be, and that's where we're heading. However, with all this pain and suffering, if we choose to go into the third dimension, we're choosing to go to Armageddon. And planet Earth has been raped, pillaged and plundered long enough. Surely she can go into the fifth dimension as well. And that's what this planetary shift is all about. Mother Earth as well, moving to the fifth dimension. What a wonderful place that is. And I believe I work between the third, fourth and fifth dimension, and depending upon my state of being and where I am. So check out NESARA and GESARA. There are plenty of YouTube videos of people exposing what's happening. I've been saying for years, buy gold and silver. I have no faith in the dollar because the dollar is fictitious. It's just they just keep adding zeros to the end to make more money. Silver has gone up exponentially now. Donald Trump put out a message through Q and Anons. Have you heard of Q? Q is a group of 10 people who are top officials who are working with Donald Trump to roll out NESARA and GESARA. So Q is putting the information out. You can download an app on your phone, and as the Q drops come, the Q drops drop to the Anons. Now, currently, right at this moment, we are 20 million plus strong. That's 20 million plus people around the world who are all Anons, who are all believing that this is exactly what's happening. Probably variants of my belief, but they're certainly believing that. So once the Q drops happen, the Anons get the information. There's some coding that can be done. So we're being given information by a special coding process that will interpret, pulling out like capital letters of a sentence that actually says what's going on behind the scenes. People are saying that the Q is fictitious, that the Anons are, tin hat wearing weirdos. Okay, we may be. However, we all have our thoughts, feelings and beliefs, and it's our right to believe what we choose to believe. But listen to this. Twitter came out saying that the Anons are growing in such massive numbers that they're going to delete Anon accounts. Now, if the Anons were just fictitious tin hat wearing weirdos, would Twitter be deleting people's accounts? Now, I've heard that Facebook are going to start deleting Anon's accounts next month. And this is once again our social media issue. I cannot post anything about. I just got a warning today because somebody else posted, an Anon posted on my Facebook page something that Facebook have decided is against their rules and regulations, and all it was a list of different things that Donald Trump had done. Facebook doesn't want that, right? So you've got to start asking yourselves the questions. If Facebook doesn't want this, and Twitter doesn't want this, and Google has got all these different algorithms that are stopping information, YouTube are deleting people's accounts. YouTube are closing down our voice. Where's our freedom of speech? Can't we say what we choose to say when we want to say it, especially if it's not hurting anybody or disrupting anything? Apparently not. We are not. This is no democracy. We are totally controlled by our government, by our politicians, by the banks, by the financiers, and by social media and by the media. So my opinion is, stop watching TV. Stop listening to the media. Go and do some of your own research. The new media are people like me who are sitting here giving reports on what they're seeing and hearing. So, one thing I'd say to you is get some cash out of the bank, because if the banks do close, and there's a couple of trains of thought. If I've heard, now I'm going to say the word Palladian, which is the aliens who are helping planet Earth shift. Why do you think people, the media, are doing smoke and mirrors around aliens? Like there have been millions of sightings of aliens. There are records, historic records. Like anybody who thinks that we are the only living beings in all the universes, I just think have not really thought very much about it. However, the Palladians are here to help us. And what the Palladians, not all alien species, are here to help us. I've been told we've got, I think, 46 different species living on the planet. The sun currently is surrounded by alien ships. Humanity is a spectator sport. This is the most incredible thing that has ever happened to humanity, and it's happening fast, and it's happening this year. So the Palladians have said, if humanity goes to war, now it's not humanity, is it? Because it's the dark forces that are controlling things. So humanity, we have to hang together. We have to help each other and be part of each other. See, we are, in the past, we have been pushed into thinking that, say I'm going to say black people, for example, it's them against us. It's the Aboriginals against the Caucasians. It's the Native Americans against the US. It's not. All this is perpetuated wars by the dark forces. And these dark forces have been hiding for millennium, absolutely hiding. We think it's that guy next door. It's not. It is all controlled by mass media, by the people who have the money. You have a look at Epstein. How many years did he do what he did? And he got away with it because he had power and money. So the Pleiadians, what I've been told they will do is, if humanity looks like it's going to war, and it won't be humanity pushing war, it'll be the dark side, because humanity are basically caring, loving people. The Pleiadians will turn our power off. Now, there isn't going to be much of a war without any power, is there? So I've been told something around, if this does happen, we'll be looking maybe a couple of weeks, 17 days, something like that, if our power goes off. So if our power goes off, how are you going to use your credit card? How are you going to buy any food? You might be able to go to the shop. They won't have lights on. You won't be buying ice cream unless you're in Canada, but you're still, who knows? So we are being helped. And not just by the Pleiadians, we are being helped by people who have been supporting humanity. And when I say people, it could be alien groups. We've got all this hidden agenda that humanity has never been shown, and we are being shown this. So can you just look around and go, why do they keep talking about COVID? Nearly said it. Why do they keep talking about these diseases when, there's so much else in the world happening? Our news is full of anger and hate and violence, and humans are not anger, hate and violence. We are love, and that's all we ever want is love. So I'm putting this video out, hoping to help as many people as I can understand what's going on. We've got massive changes coming up. Just, like silver's gone up massively in the last couple of weeks, in the last month, and gold has as well. If you can buy some silver, like you can buy a bar for, a 1 ounce bar for about $30 Australian at the moment, something like that. And buy some silver. If you can afford it, buy some gold, get some cash out, make sure you have some food at home, definitely some staples. Start growing a little garden. Even if you live in a unit, get a vertical garden happening, and sit back and watch the show. But don't sit there watching the show through mainstream media. Watch the show start doing your own research. Start looking at NESARA and GESARA. Start looking at ANONS and Q. And, just be positive, because we're in a fabulous place with fabulous things about to happen. They are happening already. We just aren't seeing it. And we will see by the end of next year, by the end of this year, we will see massive change, good news happening, and wow, just wow, I can't wait. So it's not doom and gloom. Good news, good news, good news. Focus on the good news. You will get what you focus on. And if you're focusing on the virus, well, man, where's that going to take you? And that's exactly what they want. They want you to focus, be fearful of the virus. Oh my God, it's going to get me. And that's their agenda. So don't fall for it. Choose something different, but choose something different based on what you found out, not what you're being told or brainwashed by the local media and international media. Anyway, there's my thoughts, and I'll put it out there and see what happens. But be kind to me. Or not. Or not.